cheers to being our own little weird, freaky messes and trying our best and navigating life for all its amazingness and also shittiness and also wonderfulness. Cheers. Hello. Today's video is going to be a very informal chat. I don't have anything prepared for this video because I just kind of wanted to talk about some things that are on my mind. Hey, beautiful. A few of my videos, well, a lot of my videos that I post, I have a lot of comments of people telling me that they're so grateful for how vulnerable I've been and how honest I am, and that it's brave that I share so much, and so on. And I've always, maybe it's just because I'm a massive oversharer, but I've never really felt like I'm doing anything brave or sharing anything too vulnerable or too I don't know. I think just the things that I share, I don't feel that big of a deal for me to share in any way, because I guess I've always just been very honest with people. I am not the sort of person who's ever really been able to hide things or kind of make out as if my life is different to what it actually is. But I find that interesting because that's something that's always come pretty naturally to me. And then there's a lot of people who really struggle to be honest and to share how they really feel or how they're actually doing. And it's been making me think a lot about vulnerability and maybe the importance of it. And I guess it's been making me question as well, am I too honest? Am I too vulnerable? Is it too much? I don't think it is. I don't think it is too much. That was gonna really annoy me. It was on the floor the whole video. I don't think it is too much, to be honest. I think a lot of people just want to come across as very, I guess, just to have an impenetrable front, I guess, so that they're not vulnerable to other people. I think when you are vulnerable with people, this is something I've noticed, is that people do seem to find it easier to be kind of mean to you. That's something I found a little bit in the past, is when I'm too honest, maybe people see that as weakness and then not the nicest because they don't fully respect you, I guess, or they just kind of see you as somebody who's easier to, I don't know, talk however they want to, which I don't think is a very nice way to be. And it has definitely in the past made me want to stop being so honest and maybe try and come across as different than I actually feel inside, because maybe if I do that, then maybe people will be a bit nicer to me or respect me more, or even think I'm cooler so that they just are more afraid to be kind of crappy to me, if that makes any sense. But I've always come back to the feeling that that's not me, that's not right, because yes, some people see it as weakness, but then there are many, many people out there, I'm sure, who feel the same way as how I do about certain things, who are just as sensitive as me about lots of things, who feel things as deeply and who struggle with things, and they see my videos or they know me in person and know how honest I am about things, and they find comfort and relatability and resonance with that. Not everyone will, of course. There's so many people on this earth, and there's so many different types of people, and obviously I'm not the one type of person, so not everyone's going to resonate with what I have to say. But to me, I feel happy knowing that at least some people will find some sense of peace and maybe just comfort with I'm sorry, my cat's looking into the mirror and it's really funny. Are you doing your makeup? Cool. Come this is something I want to talk about as well. I've had this, I think I've spoken about this in another video in the past, but I have this, sometimes this urge to come across more put together and maybe more fashionable and just more interesting and cooler than I actually, number one, can afford to be, because that's expensive, and have the energy to be, and whatever. Because I'm doing YouTube, and I'll be honest, I do want to make money from YouTube, because it's something I'm passionate about, and it, you know, obviously would be great to do this full time. And I don't know if you've noticed, but YouTube videos tend to do better if that person has something that you do not, and you are either slightly jealous of them or want to be like them yourself, or I don't know, that's kind of my main point. There is no B. I've not always, obviously there's some stuff on YouTube that's just educational, or it's, you know, it makes you feel seen or whatever, it's entertaining. But when it comes to personalities online, especially the type of accounts that maybe I watch, these women are so cool. They have these really cool apartments and amazing clothes and fragrance collection, and they're very smart, and they're just this very aesthetic, interesting, cool personality, to a point where I'm like, oh, I want to be more like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to adopt certain characteristics or clothes more or whatever, you know, like fashion, all that. But that is what gets the clicks. You know, you see something and you're like, oh, I want that. And then you click, and then that person gets more views, and that's just how it works online. Same with TikTok. It's usually, you're usually just wanting something, or you're slightly jealous, or even if it's subconscious, I do feel like that's a lot of content out there, and that's why it works. Anyway, oh my god, I just rambled. What I'm trying to say is that I've had that urge to maybe make myself seem more like that so that more people click, and I've definitely had the thought of like, I'm not offering enough, or I'm not, you know, my apartment isn't cool enough, my aesthetic isn't cool enough, whatever, and it's not gonna get views. And I've shut that down pretty quickly, because the whole point of why I wanted to start a YouTube channel and why I'm doing this is because I wanted to create a space where people feel seen and not alone in being imperfect, because social media is filled with seemingly perfect people and things, and it's not real. And as pleasing as it is to watch, it's usually very curated and very much fabricated to look a certain way. I don't know, that's just not something I want to do with my channel. And so instead I'm very honest with you guys. And some people have commented things like, you think too much, or like, you're too sensitive. And do you know what? That's probably very true. I'm somebody who wants to be a writer. I read a lot. I'm a very emotional person. And I do think there's great benefits to being very sensitive and very like to feel things deeply. I don't want to shy away from feeling things, because surely that's the whole point of living and of being. We have a very short time on this world, and I do not want to spend that pretending like I don't feel a lot or that I'm not experiencing a lot of different things, you know. Anyway, now that I've told you why I want to be so honest and why I'm so vulnerable, as you guys would say, let me share some things that maybe a lot of people wouldn't want to share, and will make me seem a lot more human and less of it like a brand online or a personality on YouTube, because I'm not. I'm a person. I'm 22. I feel very behind. I feel like I'm a bit lost. I struggle with anxiety and depression, and I'm on medication for both. I often feel very unconfident, and that I think does come across to people. I don't have much money at the moment. I kind of have none. And I can't afford the clothes and all the cool stuff I want to buy. I struggle with money. I overspend a lot when I do have it. So I've got myself into debt because of that. I want to write a book. I'm in the middle of writing a book, but I feel like an imposter. I feel like maybe my writing's just nowhere near as good as I want it to be, or at least think it is at the moment. I struggle to stick to routine. I tell myself I'll do things. I get very obsessed with certain routines or habits, and then I do drop them very quickly. I don't have a great attention span. I'm kind of all over the place with my interests and my hobbies and what I'm doing. So yeah, that's just some stuff about me. I have a very addictive personality as well. And that's me being vulnerable and telling you a bunch of, I guess, not private things about myself, but just things that you wouldn't necessarily tell somebody off the bat. But that does not make me any less of a person. Actually, it just makes me a person in her 20s navigating life. We are all going through different stuff, and do you know what? That's great. I don't know. I mean, like, I don't think there is anything wrong with not having everything figured out or not knowing what you're doing and kind of feeling like you're failing, because, I mean, who doesn't feel like that? And if you don't, then you are extremely lucky. But I think that's how the majority of us feel. We're all trying, or we don't have the energy to try. Oh my god, I'm getting so lost in what I'm saying. And I know it sounds like I'm just... sounds like I'm trying to be so deep. But no, basically what I'm trying to get at is I feel like most of us are just messy, weird individuals who have our messy, weird lives, and we're all just trying to make our way through life and understand things in our own ways and create meaningfulness. And there is nothing wrong with that mess. I think it is what makes us human. It is beautiful in and of its own right. I mean, I just think that vulnerability should be way less of a taboo kind of thing. I don't think it should be so scary to be honest and scary to tell the truth about where you're at in life. I know it doesn't make me any lesser of a person. Maybe in some people's eyes it does, but not in mine. And maybe some people will watch this and be like, what is she on about? She's crazy. But some people will watch this and maybe see a glimpse of themselves in me and will feel some sort of comfort from this, and maybe take some of what I've said today and feel okay with your mess and weirdness. Anyway, I think that's what a lot of people are attracted to my channel for, is because I'm super honest. So here's a big honest video for you. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to say. I just want to make sure that my channel is a place where people feel extremely safe and like, just so that they can have a break from maybe a lot of the overly aesthetic lives we see online. Yeah. Do you want to see my cat? He freaks out whenever he sees a fly. Hey, baby boo. Hey, baby boo. Anyway. Right, guys, mama's going. Now you need to try and decipher what I just said, because to be honest, I don't think I could even make any sense of it. And I know I need to go back and edit this, and I'm not looking forward to it. Anyway, let me get a bottle. Cheers to being our own little weird, freaky messes and trying our best and navigating life for all its amazingness and also shittiness and also wonderfulness. Cheers. I love you guys. I love you so much. Okay, goodbye.